Guess sometimes I look at myself in the mirror, and all I see is nothing but a sidekick.
Mortys are raised to be sidekicks. Without a side to kick, they just start kicking.
Jake! Finn!
What are you doing here?
I was looking for you, knucklehead.
Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing the sidekick trope, what its deeper meanings are, and different ways it can be written in characters. Also, spoiler alert. Our character analysis will be Darwin Waterson.
How you doing? Feeling comfortable? That's funny, because a lot of people on this planet aren't. How does that make you feel? Are you proud? Are you still feeling good? What is wrong with you? Give them money! Give us money so we can give it to them!
Jake the dog.
You see this cup? This is literally my favorite cup. Now it's gone forever, so it's not real, and I don't care about it anymore.
And Morty Smith.
I'm always helping you with this and that and the other thing. What about me, Rick? Why can't you just help me out once for once?
So let's get started. Media and TV is filled with variations of the sidekick trope, a character who often sees their spot in the shadows of someone else. We often see them cheering from the sidelines, underneath someone else's wing, or next to someone else's shoulder while the main character takes applause and is the main center of others. They are also often a comfort, a shoulder to cry on, a big sibling figure, or a guide that allows the main character or protagonist to triumph over their struggles. The sidekick is often submissive and secondary, individual enough but patient as to wait for their senior to move first, and their stories are often told from the perspective of others, by others, to others, especially whom they follow. Their personality is often like white paint, just enough and it brightens all other colors and brings out the best in those around them. Although when left alone, on the surface, white can seem extraordinary and without substance. However, white light actually contains all the colors in its spectrum, making it very special. Sorry for the mixed metaphor there. Basically, my impression is that sidekicks improve those who they subserve, and on their own, they are nothing but untapped potential. Dissecting the sidekick trope in simple terms, they basically all contain the same three elements. First, shadowing. They shadow someone else. For better or worse, their presence is either next to, below, or around the main character or protagonist in the given story. Either literally or metaphorically, they are physically close to their host. Second, they have value or usage. Again, for better or worse, they have some value, connected, tethered value towards their host, which is why the person they shadow doesn't just trail off and leave them behind. This value, however, isn't fixed and it often changes. It is most common, however, for the value to be assigned by the host. And last, they are not the main character. This line is a bit blurred with Rick and Morty, but the show does go out of its way to suggest that Rick's come first before Morty's. In general, the sidekick isn't the main character, they are secondary.
Adventure time! Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands. We'll take the dog and then the hill and the fun will never end. It's adventure time.
4 years since the end of Adventure Time, the show in all 10 seasons created by Pendleton Ward was quickly honored as one of the greatest animations ever made, and on a personal note was part of what I call the Cartoon Network Golden Age between 2009 and 2019. Finn Merton's human boy and his stretchy adoptive magic dog brother, Jake, go through countless adventures in the land of Oo, and the show injects real depth and serious character development on every imaginable level throughout the series. There is also a very immersive and expansive lore, world, and characters. Although Finn is the main character, Jake is nearly always by his side. Having magic stretchy powers, he does come quite useful for Finn on several occasions, saving him, providing transport, or some type of utility from his powers alone. He is also a bit older, and thus possesses wisdom that he often gives to Finn, allowing him to grow.
Finn, when I die, my individual Earth consciousness is gonna go all over everywhere while Glob tallies my deeds.
Heal.
Listen, Finn, girls is like horses. When you fall down, it's important that you get right back on again.
Or overcome adversity. Jake is nearly always by Finn's side. However, he does also have his own priorities and episodes dedicated to him.
And I still have my battle phase.
So, are you ready to come home?
Nah, I think I'm just gonna keep being a brick for a while.
This shows individuality and shows that Jake breaks out of the conventional sidekick trope by being more himself while also being close to Finn. He has a wife and children, friends, and enemies unique to him.
Remember me, Jake?
No.
He grows with Finn, but also by himself. So does Jake make a good sidekick? Yes, absolutely. Without Jake, Finn would have perished a long time ago.
Sure hope he saves me.
He supports his brother even in his darkest times, but that doesn't mean that they don't fight or have their own banter either. Jake tries his best to support everyone in his own way. Summarizing Jake, I think he embodies the sidekick because he shadows Finn, he provides value, but he's also definitely not the main character. However, coming back to this value, it is so much more than providing support. Jake is human even though he is a dog. He is a sidekick, but he is truly his own person without Finn. Jake just prefers to observe, watch, and enjoy life without being the center of attention.
Who am I to say? To me, you just look like a sidekick.
Rick and Morty is a pop culture sci-fi success where a super genius manic depressive alcoholic scientist Rick takes his timid grandson Morty on adventures through space and time since Rick invented portal technology to travel the infinite multiverse. We see their dynamic grow over time. Rick's arrogance and distance from emotion grows into a more soft and self-aware man who is capable of empathy and sacrifice, while Morty goes from an easily confused and insecure boy to an emotionally mature and constructive adolescent. Although this character growth is heartwarming, there is still one problem.
That the Citadel became its own Morty market. I'm sure you don't know how far they've gone to help supply meet demand. There aren't infinite versions of our grandfather Morty. He's an infinite smear of one shitty old man. And he's attached to us infinitely through his weakness and our forgiveness. This is why we're with him.
In the final, Morty is dumbfounded by Rick's dishonesty of the inner workings of infinite numbers of Mortys who are essentially raised as cattle for use of disposable human shields. Morty's brainwaves are regarded as camouflage for Rick's genius waves to hide from the bureaucrats and other intelligent life.
Ricks have a very distinctive and traceable brainwave due to our genius. You're a camouflage. When a Rick is with a Morty, the genius waves get canceled out by the, Morty waves.
Mortys are regarded as not just inferior, but doormats. As a quick sidebar, if someone watched my last video, they might comment that there are infinite realities where Rick and Morty have a perfect relationship. True. Just for the sake of keeping things simple, we will consider the way their relationship is generally showed in the show for the purposes of keeping things consistent. The length at which the show goes to retell just how disregarded Mortys are to Ricks implies that the writers wanted the audience to focus more on that rather than the infinite variations of their relationship that is happy. Morty is often shown to have free will, but at the same time, he is shown to be quite forced by Rick in either direct or indirect ways.
I just took over the family, Morty, and if you tell your mom or sister I said any of this, I'll deny it. I control you. I control the universe.
Can go back to that time.
Morty's submission can be attributed to his fear of Rick. He is self-aware that Rick is dangerous and has immense power.
You don't know what I am. You don't know what I can do. It's cool, Rick. I'm Doctor Who in this motherfucker. I could be a clone. I could be a hologram.
He bows down in submission, creating a toxic relationship that often leads in misery, death, or pain. He no doubt knows he has to submit, which is why it comes so easily to him after a while.
We've been going non-stop, Rick. It's not healthy.
He also follows in Rick's philosophy that nothing and no one matters.
Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die. Come watch TV.
Other Mortys don't just submit, but they self-deprecate and loathe over their own inadequacies regularly. And Mortys always measure their value in comparison to Rick's. They always fall short because in any outcome, they think that they are the direct inferior to Rick.
None of those things are gonna happen, you know. Morty wishes never come true. Not on the Citadel.
Morty is a sidekick in every means of the word, but beyond that, he's actually less than even that. He is a prisoner. Morty encapsulates the stereotypes of sidekicks, that they are weak and inferior and disposable wipes. He is trapped by obligation, fear, and repetition of behaviors. After a while, he gets used to following Rick's orders.
The answer is no. If God exists, it's f***ing me.
Yes, Rick.
Him and Rick often have breaking points just because they relive their own self-defeating perpetual cycles.
This shit.
Why do you keep doing this to us?
Morty as the sidekick. In their relationship, the show writes a very realistic example of abusive relationships where one is subservient to the other. It succeeds in showing the fluctuation of abusive relationships. Some days are good when some days are really bad. Morty is dragged along, and he knows he is a prisoner of circumstance. He only wants things to change or finally be free. But after a while, it's almost like he learns to accept his sidekick role, his position in an infinite multiverse, and his direct connection to Rick. He shadows Rick, has usage ascribed by Rick, and is not the main character of his own life.
I've replaced them both as the de facto patriarch of your family and your universe.
However, through all of this, Morty is more than Rick, even though he is the sidekick in his own story, because he uses the experiences in his life to understand what's going on. He is a sidekick, but he learns to accept and enjoy the role as much as the universe allows him to.
Hey man, I don't give a crap about myself, Rick. Let's watch some crazy stuff, yo.
And in the end, Rick needs Morty more than Morty needs Rick. The Amazing World of Gumball is an animated series centered around a sarcastic, overzealous, snarky, egotistic cat named Gumball, his family, the friends he goes on adventures with, in a world with human-like animals, animal-like humans, and random sentient people. Darwin, Gumball's trusted brother, a fish who grew legs from the power of love, these two have off-the-charts level of chemistry.
It would be a log cabin.
Yes, by a blue lake.
They don't just depend on each other physically and emotionally. Darwin is basically Gumball's right hand.
Can I have my math book? Oh, sure.
They sleep in the same room, are in the same class, go on the same adventures, and do basically everything else together. Darwin doesn't really have his own episodes that are just about him. Even if it's just a bit, Gumball is there as well, hence the name. The show really operates around Gumball and his antics.
This Jody's taking credit for Anna-Isa's work getting her to carry her stuff and eating her lunch. You know what she sounds like?
You?
Are you implying that I don't live up to my own beliefs? I got principles. It just turns out I can't live by them.
Stop making fun of your brother's principles. You might take it as a challenge and make our lives a nightmare.
This doesn't mean that Darwin isn't his own person. He's actually my favorite character in the show. He is cute and funny, grateful, intelligent, but somehow also dumb.
But I just wanted to help people.
No more, Mr. Nice Guy. I found a new star.
Darwin?
Sorry, what was that? I got distracted by— Oh, look, a shoe!
Darwin has high levels of appreciation and gratitude, and since it was Gumball's love that gave him lungs and feet, he loves his brother a great deal. He struggles to make his own decisions because he feels insecure that he isn't the master of his own universe, that he doesn't have authority to choose because most fish can't. That's why it's easier for him to decide if someone else made a good choice, in this case Gumball, and the things he does.
What were you doing playing video games leaving us outside all night, you hypocrite?
Over time, Darwin begins to learn basically everything about Gumball, all his quirks and behaviors.
Dude, how do you know everything I'm gonna say?
Because that's what you say every time we have pasta. Bet you didn't see this coming. What the what? I am not that predictable. And then when I try to warn you about it, you'll just say—
He basically is Gumball's shadow. The value he brings is a cute but quiet and intelligent little voice into Gumball's head, leading him to success in what problems he resurrects.
What exactly are you trying to do here?
To an outsider, Darwin may seem like a servant to Gumball. One episode was dedicated to how much of a sidekick he actually is.
I look at myself in the mirror, and all I see is nothing but a sidekick.
The way he is often second-guessed or pushed to the side or considered unequal to Gumball should be a problem.
Hey, you! Look me in the eye and tell me you don't think I'm Gumball's sidekick.
By Rubik's Cube, you can talk! I always thought you were Gumball's orange bag.
On the surface level, this is true. It seems like Darwin's entire existence is tethered to Gumball. But by the end of that episode, they have a revelation. When Darwin is given the reins to be in charge and Gumball is a sidekick, Darwin does some of the dumb stuff Gumball usually does, which gets him into trouble.
You stole his mom!
However, Gumball isn't there to stop him. giving a revelation that Darwin is there not as a sidekick but as a guardian, protecting Gumball from himself. He is Gumball's moral compass. He keeps Gumball and honestly the rest of the family in check. As a summary, Darwin is such a grateful person. He doesn't need or want to be the center of attention. He loves supporting his brother while being right next to him every step of the journey. He doesn't need all the things Gumball needs. He isn't the main character and he is totally okay with that.
Darwin doesn't even have a role. Sure I do. If I don't flick the switch, nobody will be able to see the play.
He learns to accept the psychic role as more of a guardian, reinstating his purpose in supporting his brother, living his life by his side. Thank you for watching my video on the psychic trope and my character analysis. Try and use one emoji to describe how your day's been going in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.
And scene.